大場誠一くんですね。両手をそこの端子に置いてくださいね。
Hello everyone and welcome to the third episode of Koiken Otome. We are currently in the midst of this Doryoku power evaluation test thing here, and now it's the protagonist's turn. I do as I'm told and place my hands on the terminal of the Doryoku measuring device.
気を楽にして動力を発動してください。
Right. Trigger my Doryoku? I don't know if I can, but I reluctantly place my hands onto the device.
はい、それじゃあ動力を。
For the very first time since the measurements began, Misa-sensei drops her pen as she stares at the Doryoku measuring device.
おいおいおい、なんだよあれ。
What's wrong?
まだ測定器に触っただけよね。それなのにあの数値って。
The value on the electronic bulletin board skyrockets and the students begin to stir. This again. I've already convinced myself that it's only natural for them to start a ruckus, because...
誠一の動力値って。
Akane stands there dumbfounded.
大場くん、動力の発動はまだですよね。
Misa-sensei looks around for any sign of my Doryoku. No, not yet.
発動していないのに。なんだあの数値の上がり方は。
本当にいた。
本当にいたってどういうことだ、トウコ。
天才的動力値の持ち主。フェーズトライ S。
Phase triple S? What? I react with a slight disgust to the comment that Kamishiro just made. It's not like that. The value on the measuring device stops rising. All the digits are at 9 and the device starts to blink.
測定不能ですって。
The auditorium begins to stir with unrest. One might expect me to leave the measuring device proudly, receiving praise and respect from everyone, but right now I only feel depressed. Are we finished yet, Sensei?
でもまだ動力の発動を確認していませんよ。
Looks like it can't be measured anyway. I smile bitterly as I tell her this. Misa-sensei just stares blankly at my face. No matter how many times I experience this awkward situation, I still hate it.
見つけました。誠一さん発見です。
What? Who goes there? A high-pitched voice suddenly breaks the silence in the auditorium. I recognize this nostalgic voice from my childhood. That voice. It can't be! Or, who might this adorable person be? I turn around and see a cute girl jumping and waving her hand in my direction.
やっぱり誠一さんだ。電光掲示板の数字で絶対にそうだと思いました。
Oh, so this is Yuzu, huh? She says this with a smile as bright as the sun. She's my childhood friend, Sumeya Yuzu. It's nice to see you again after 3 years, Yuzu.
そうですね。誠一さん、身長がかなり伸びてたんで、最初わかりませんでしたよ。
The same could be said for you. You've matured quite a bit.
ありがとうございます。
Those 3 years seem so short. At least for my childhood friend who has become a woman.
なんだか今、とっても嬉しい気分なんです。誠一さんとまた同じ学園に通えるんだなと思うと。
Yuzu says this with a kind smile, but I think she's still holding something back. We were together for a long time, but one day Yuzu suddenly moved away. After that, we occasionally got in touch with each other. I told her that I would take the examination for Kashinomori Academy when I spoke to her. But to think that Yuzu also took the entrance exam for Kashinomori Academy. Is that so? I was so focused on Yuzu that I forgot about the measurement.
お取り込み中失礼ですけど、動力の発動をお願いしたいんですが。
Misa-sensei cuts into our conversation in an awkward fashion. I thought I would be able to distract her with my reunion with Yuzu. I guess that was naive of me.
測定器に触れるだけであの数値なのだから、動力を発動したらさぞかしすごいのだろうな。
期待している。見極めたい。
No, it would attract too much attention. After all, just this created such a fuss.
なぜですか？発動に危険が伴うのならみんなを避難させますよ。
No, that's not it, Sensei.
先生、聖一さんは動力を発動できないんです。
Is that so? Yuzu answers for me. I'm ashamed to say it myself.
どういうことですか？聖一さんの動力値は計測不可能なほどに高いんですけど、その動力を何かに使うことはできないんですよ。
Interesting. As Yuzu enthusiastically says this, voices start to fill the room.
なんだって？本当なのか、聖一？
Yeah.
使えないというのは一体。
I've already been measured many times during my childhood, but I never learned how to trigger my Doryoku.
だが、動力を発動できないのになぜこの学園へ？
Akane is uncertain about me. Well, there's a reason for that. It's not easy to explain, but I'll have to give my story sooner or later anyways, so I decide to explain myself. Even though my Doryoku value is extremely high, I can't use it, so I've been made fun of ever since I was a child. I thought going to an elite school like Kashinomori Academy would help me develop my powers to the point where I would be able to use them. Nobody seems impressed. Instead, everyone just seems a bit shocked. I don't even understand it myself, but apparently Doryoku abilities aren't something that users acquire through training. Rather, they find themselves able to use it naturally. So to everyone here, hearing that I want to be able to use Doryoku is like saying that I want to learn how to walk.
それは辛いな。その辛い気持ち、すべてではないが理解できる。
Akane, for heaven's sake, please don't pity me.
同情はしない。動力が使えるようになりたいという気持ち、理解できないから。
I see. Well, I guess that's one way to look at it. It pains me when they pity me, but it hurts a lot more when they don't even understand. Still, I understand where they are coming from, and that only reinforces the reason why I chose Kashinomori Academy. It's not like I thought going to a normal school would be tough. In fact, if I felt bad about my Doryoku, I'd be doing just that. But I don't feel that way. I don't want to turn my back on the possibility that there's some latent power sleeping within me.
そうですか。でも、大場誠一君の動力値は学園始まって以来の最高値なので S クラスは確定です。
Even if he can't use it?
フェーズもトライ S に分類されるでしょう。トライ S が入学だなんて前代未聞ですよ。
Misa sensei seems to have mixed emotions about this, but she smiles as she hands me the diagnosis record and enrollment guide. S-Class, so I'm phase triple S after all. S-Class users are the best of the students gathered here, and phase triple S is the strongest out of those elite. They're forcing that label onto me while barely knowing anything about me. I wanted to start at the lowest class if possible, but I guess this is just how the system works here.
大変そうですけど頑張ってね、大場くん。
Yes, thank you, Misa-sensei. I don't even know how I can hang in there when I'm enrolled into a school with the highest standards in Doryoku education. I guess I have no choice but to try my best for now.
私に協力できることがあれば何でも言ってくれ。
Thanks, Akane.
S クラス、納得できない？
Well, I'll manage somehow.
ゆずは動力科学研究科の志望ですから、誠一さんが頑張れるように精一杯バックアップしますね。
Yeah, let's give it our best, Yuzu. The extremely formal Akane. the ice-cold Kamishiro, and my childhood friend Yuzu. Though the future is uncertain, I was able to reunite with my childhood friend and make a new friend already. Things aren't going badly at all. I can't go back now. I'll do everything I can to prove that I'm competent. Even though I say that, other students still glare at me coldly. Time flew by fast from the entrance ceremony through the Doryoku measurement. By the time I was hungry, the chime signaling the end of morning rang. Now, where should I have lunch? I'm thinking about that when...
Seiichi-san!
Yuzu comes into my class and calls my name. Oh, are you having lunch too, Yuzu?
はい聖一さんと一緒に食べようかなって
Okay. I stand up, but then I suddenly think of something. What do we do for lunch? Do we eat in the cafeteria?
入学案内には今日はお弁当が支給されると書かれてましたよ
Provided? Yuzu nods. A senior then enters the classroom pushing a large cart.
弁当の支給です。一人一つずつ取ってください。クラスの人数分しかないので、一人で2個取ったりしないように。
As I laugh about who would be so gluttonous, Yuzu seems a bit troubled.
クラスごとってことは当然ゆずのお弁当も C クラスにお弁当をもらう前に聖一さんのクラスに来ちゃいました
She hasn't changed at all, still failing at even the simplest of things, even though she's normally such a serious person. I can't help but smile at the thought of having such a charming childhood friend. Let's eat outside after you go get your lunch.
ありがとうございます聖一さん
The troubled look on her face quickly changes to a smile. Even her quick changes in facial expressions haven't changed at all. After Yuzu gets her lunch from C class, we go to the school courtyard.
晴れてて気持ちいいですね
Yeah, it definitely feels more liberating than eating in the classroom. We enjoy our lunch under the warm and pleasant spring sky.
そうですねちょっとしたピクニックみたいです
Yeah. I let out a sigh as I look up at the clear blue sky.
聖一さんどうしたんですか
It's nothing, just after what happened, even your class probably knows my face by now. When we arrived at C class to get Yuzu's boxed lunch, the classroom suddenly turned quiet. They stared at us and started whispering.
皆さん失礼です聖一さんもあんまり気にしないでくださいね
Yuzu recalls the earlier situation and puffs her cheeks in anger, even though I'm the one who should be angry. I guess I stood out too much when my Doryoku measurement was taken.
大丈夫ですゆずが研究して聖一さんの動力もきっと解明してみせますから
Yuzu proudly declares this. I feel touched by her kindness. Thank you, Yuzu. Alright, the only way I can get through this is to focus on what I can do right now.
そうですその意気です一緒に頑張りましょう聖一さん
Yeah, but for now, let's eat. I change the subject and look at the boxed lunch. Huh, it looks pretty fancy. It's not as extravagant as a Makunochi bento, but I'm still impressed by its contents. The main dish looks like grilled mackerel. Around it are various stewed or pickled vegetables. Finally, the rice is topped with a dried plum.
ハンバーグです
Yuzu opens her boxed lunch with glee. Wait, hamburger steak? Are the contents different? Looks like it. Yuzu's boxed lunch is almost the same as mine, but the main dish is hamburger steak instead of fish.
中身って選べたんでしょうか
They certainly didn't ask if we wanted beef or fish. I split the disposable wooden chopsticks and slice the grilled mackerel in half as I talk to Yuzu. I'll trade half my fish for half of your hamburger steak. Yuzu gladly agrees and proceeds to split the hamburger steak using her chopsticks. Here. I bring my lunchbox closer to Yuzu's so that I don't drop the food. Naturally, our shoulders come into contact as I do this. Yuzu instinctively tenses up as if being tickled and yelps out in surprise. Hey, don't drop it.
大丈夫です。ゆずのハンバーグも。はい、どうぞ。
I exchange a portion of my main dish for Yuzu's. My lunchbox looks much more luxurious now. Though the amount of food didn't actually increase, we have more dishes than before.
お弁当の種類が増えて、なんだか豪華ですね。
She's thinking the same thing as me. As expected from my childhood friend, we've been together for so long that even our thoughts are practically aligned. Oh, how about I give you this too? I quickly sneak a green pepper into Yuzu's lunchbox, to which she starts screaming.
何するんですか？
You like green peppers, right, Yuzu?
嫌いです。知ってるくせに。
But that was a long time ago. You should be okay with them now.
じゃあ、誠一さんは梅干し嫌いだったはず。
Yuzu says that as she puts pickled plum onto my lunch. Oh, thank you. I express my gratitude as I plop the pickled plum into my mouth. Ugh, so sour.
食べられるようになったんですか？
Too bad, now it's your turn to eat that green pepper. Yuzu lifts the green pepper with her quivering chopsticks as she stares at it and grumbles. She doesn't move an inch, but she's sweating buckets.
ピーマンは実はビタミン C に富み、さらに熱を加えてもビタミン C が壊れにくいので、様々な調理にも適した便利なお野菜ですが、独特な苦味と香りがあって。
She mutters something quietly. Hey, lunch is going to end if you don't eat that soon. As I tease her, Yuzu opens her mouth wide and attempts to eat the green pepper in one bite, but of course, it doesn't fit into her mouth.
せっかく誠一さんがくれたんだから食べなくちゃ。
Yuzu's eyes become shrouded with tears as she tries to eat it again. As this transpires,
なんだ、誠一は女子をいじめて泣かせるような男だったのか？見損なったぞ。
yeah, what an asshole! I turn around and see Akane and Kamishiro standing there. I wasn't bullying anyone.
そうは見えなかった。
Maybe I was just teasing her a bit.
それをいじめていたというのだ。いじめというのは、やっている方はからかっているつもりでも、やられた方はそうは思えないのだぞ。
Akane says this with a scowl, as if she's about to slap me. Sorry.
謝るのは靖国にではないと思う。
You're right. Yuzu, I'm sorry.
いえ、ゆずがピーマン苦手なのが悪いんです。ゆずこそごめんなさい。
No, you don't have to apologize. Yuzu, in a panic, shoves the green pepper into her mouth with her chopsticks. Yuzu smiles bitterly as she attempts to swallow it.
誠一を責めに来たのではないのだ。窓から2人が食事をしようとしていたのが見えたのでな。私たちも一緒にいいかと聞きに来たのだった。
Of course you can. Before I can finish my sentence, Kamishiro walks right up to Yuzu and asks her.
いい？はい、大丈夫です。
Yuzu nods her head in a flustered manner.
では、失礼させてもらおう。
Akane nods to Kamishiro. They then take a seat across from us.
確かにここで弁当を食べるというのはいい考えだな。日差しが気持ちいいぞ。
Akane's lunch is the same as mine, sporting a grilled mackerel. Kamishiro's lunch, on the other hand, has grilled ginger. While we all eat our lunch, Akane asks me something.
そういえば、誠一とゆずは幼なじみのような話をしていたな。
Ah, Yuzu used to be my neighbor. Our families know each other.
物心ついた時から中等に上がるまでずっと一緒でした。
おお、そんなに長い付き合いなのか。
I guess you could say that. Akane, did you have any childhood friends too? Akane's hand freezes for a moment when I ask her this.
一人だけだがいる。
Akane smiles, but I sense some awkwardness behind those words. What kind of childhood friend does she have? Perhaps they aren't good friends anymore?
そういえば二人は久しぶりの再会だと言っていたようだが。
ゆずは卒業した後、女子校に進学したので。
As she answers, Yuzu subtly averts her eyes. She didn't necessarily lie, but she didn't tell them the whole story either. Yuzu's probably not telling the whole story because she doesn't want to talk about it. I don't think there's a reason for me to say anything, so I keep quiet.
そうか、選んだ道の違いで疎遠になるというのはよくあることだな。
そうですね。その後はほとんど顔を合わせることもなくなって。
うんうん。私にも似たような経験がある。
Did Akane have some kind of trouble with her childhood friend? She mutters something as she stares off into the distance.
あかねさんの幼馴染は男の子なんですか？
いや、女の子だ。
I feel relief for some reason when I hear that. Oh yeah, Kamishiro, do you have any childhood friends? Right when I ask that, Kamishiro's chopsticks suddenly stop moving. After a slight delay,
幼馴染はいない。
she replies in a hasty manner. Then, do you have any friends that are male?
いない。面倒だから。
Is that so?
そう。
Even though she answered my question, it's hard to continue this conversation.
うんうん、わかるな。トウコは動力を鍛えるために友達などを作っている暇がなかったのか。あれほどの動力の強さだ。並大抵の鍛錬ではなかっただろ。
動力を鍛えたことなんてない。一度も鍛えたことなんてないし、その必要も感じない。
じゃあどうしてカシノモリに？
Akane seems to have the same question as me.
ノーコメント。
Kamishiro answers with a single phrase and goes back to eating her lunch. She gives off an aura warning us not to pry any further.
午後のスケジュールって確か説明会でしたっけ？
Yuzu tries to move on from the awkward atmosphere.
ああ、午後からはクラス別の説明会だな。動力の強さに応じて伸ばし方や学ぶことは異なるそうだからな。
We are already this busy after the entrance ceremony, huh?
樫の森学園は動力開発のトップランク。忙しいのは入学前から分かっていたこと。
Well, yeah, that's true. I sigh in response to Kamishiro's harsh comment.
ありゃ、兄貴、やっぱり遅かったみたいだよ。
あ、マジだ。場所を取られちまってるな。
That's these two again. The four of us look towards the voices.
お、さっきのくしゃみ。
Ah, sorry about that. It's the twins that I met at the Doryoku assessment a little while ago.
ここは美少女揃いだね、兄貴。
Sure is. The girl says this in a cheerful tone.
ねえ、お弁当、僕たちも一緒に食べちゃダメかな？
ああ、それは構わないが。
Akane nods and the atmosphere finally becomes less tense.
兄貴、オッケーだってさ。
おお、助かるぜ。この中庭で弁当を食おうと思ってやってきたんだけど、狙ってた場所が塞がっててな。
ここのことだけどね。
She smiles as she takes a seat between Kamishiro and Yuzu.
まあ、弁当なんてのはたくさんで食った方が楽しいに決まってるよな。
The guy sits between Akane and me. He proceeds to introduce himself with a smile.
俺は市倉仁。そっちは双子の妹の千春。
Ichikura Jin and Ichikura Chiharu.
この学園は楽しそうだよな。 よかったら今後ともつるんでいこうぜ。
2人とも S クラス。
え、知ってた？
同じ教室にいた。
Kamishiro, you're unexpectedly observant.
意外は心外。
上白塔子ちゃんだよね。氷結系動力、びっくりしたよ。僕のこと千春って呼んでいいからね。よろしく。私は靖国あかねちゃんだよね。ちゃんとチェックしてるよ。
チェック？
そして君は染谷ゆずちゃん。
Yuzu replies cheerfully for some inexplicable reason when her name is called out. What about me?
誰だっけ？
Hey!
ゆず以外みんな S クラスなんですね。
Yuzu says that with admiration.
ゆずだけ C クラスの動力科学研究家ですから、ちょっと気遅れしちゃいます。羨ましい。動力科学とか研究。そうなんですか？瞳子さんの動力すごかったので S クラス志望だと思ってました。
We all nod in agreement as we recall the moment that the auditorium was covered in frost.
そうだな。瞳子の高い動力値ならきっと琴菜とだって渡り合える。
琴菜なんてもういない。あれはおとぎ話。
それはしかし万が一ということがあるではないか。万が一そんなのが攻めてきたら僕は速攻で逃げちゃうな。逃げてはまずいだろう。私たち動力使いが琴菜と戦わず誰が戦うというのだ。今の科学力ならミサイルでドッカーン、それでおしまいなんじゃない？
あのな、我が妹よ。そんなつまらない考え方ってどうする？だいたいそれじゃあ俺たち動力使いがいる意味なんてないだろ。
やはり動力使いが前に出るのが一番だ。だいたい謎に包まれた存在のことなにミサイルが効くという保証もないのだからな。効かなかったらその時はその時だよ。兄貴が食べられてる間に僕は逃げるから。
兄貴を助けようとか思わないのかよ。
兄貴こそ身を挺して妹を助けようとか思わないの？
思うか。お前が先に逃げようとしたら動力を使って足止めしてやるからな。
そんなことして倒れても兄貴だけは治療しないね。
The twins start fighting again. It doesn't seem mean though. It's probably just their usual routine, playing around with each other.
ところでジン、千春、二人の動力は何だ？足止めとか治療とか言っていたが。
Chiharu turns around to answer Akane.
僕は生命系動力の回復、特に美少女の治療にかけてはエキスパートなんだ。
Oh, so she's a white mage, huh? Why is she only limited to pretty girls?
男の治療はあんまり気が進まないから怪我とかしないようにね。
She says this as she looks at me. Her eyes are serious.
俺も生命系動力だけど回復よりも人の動きを止めたりする方が得意だ。
生命吸収。
お、知ってるのか？そうだな。相手が運動する活力を一時的に奪うって感じだぜ。
Wow, that's ironic. You two are twins, but your powers are exact opposites.
そうでもないですよ。正反対っていうことはベクトル自体は揃っているということですから。
Ah, so it's like giving and taking life force, right? If you think about it in terms of plus and minus, it makes more sense.
はい、そういうことです。
しかし S クラスとはな。意外な結果だったが燃えてくるぜ。
You weren't expecting it? Why?
俺体調次第で動力が大幅変動するんだわ。入学前の測定だと A クラスに行けるかどうかの数値でフラフラしてたんだが。
Jin explains this as he shakes his head.
今日はなんか知らんがたまたま絶好調だったらしくてな。いつも以上に動力値が高くて S クラス行きだ。
兄貴菓子の森に合格して以来ずっとテンション高かったもん。それが影響したんじゃない？
Chiharu says this to Jin as she shrugs her shoulders.
僕も兄貴の動力に引っ張られて S クラス決定だよ。ああ、双子だとそういうことがあるのか。
その話は聞いたことがあります。双子の動力者が互いにシンクロすることがあるとか。
僕たちは二卵性だから一卵性の双子ほどシンクロしないけどね。
お互いの体調に引きずられて動力の調子が上がったり下がったりな。
双子の動力のシンクロってゆずちょっと研究してみたいかもです。
あ、じゃあよかったら僕たちのことを研究する？ゆずちゃんみたいな可愛い子だったら僕大歓迎だよ。
いいんですか？
ああ、研究の役に立てそうなら力になるけど。
よろしくお願いします。ジンさん、千春さん。
Even with the intruding twins, Yuzu is completely unreserved.
ああ、それにしても兄貴のおかげでのんびりできなくなっちゃったな。
If you wanted to relax, how come you took the effort to apply to an elite school like Kashinomori Academy?
菓子の森なら就職に有利でしょ。だから僕は気楽な就職組の B クラスでよかったのに。
I see. Quite a shrewd idea. I never thought about it that way.
いやいや、その考えは間違っているぞ千春。理由はどうあれ俺たちは S クラスに入ったんだ。これをチャンスと考えて S クラスで動力の訓練に燃え上がろうじゃねえか。そうしたら俺たちは動力エリートだ。 B クラスなんかより就職先だってよりどりみどりなはずだぜ。
そうだけどさ、 S クラスってやっぱ大変そうなんだもん。2人とも就職のために動力の訓練をするのか？
Akane asks this with a little dissatisfaction. She was passionately saying, "Let's fight Kotona" a moment ago, saying that Doryoku is just a tool to find employment might have upset her a bit.
俺としても戦いたいのは山々なんだが、ほら、もともと俺たち双子の動力って生命系の回復だろ？
回復系だって重要な。っていうか兄貴ってそもそも病弱なんだよね。
Chiharu interrupts, throwing out a lifeline for her brother. Do you have a weak constitution? It doesn't look that way at all. He does look a bit thin, but...
兄貴ってば動力を使いすぎたり興奮して力みすぎたりするとすぐ貧血で倒れちゃうんだよね。
みっともないが、まあそういうことだ。
Looking at you, you seem to be pretty well built.
動力による消耗は体の大きさとは関係ありませんからね。
なるほど。それでは大変だな。
他人の体力を奪うのに一緒に消耗するのは不思議。
そうだよね。倒れるたびに治療してあげる僕の苦労も理解してほしいよ。
してくれと頼んだ覚えはないぞ。
あ、じゃあ次からシカトでいい？僕としても可愛い女の子、あかねちゃんやとうこちゃんやゆずちゃんみたいな子たちの治療だけしてたいんだけどな。さっきだって動力測定だけで貧血になってたじゃないか。おかげでお弁当に遅れたんだよ。分かってる？ほら、分かったらごめんなさいわ。
ごめん。
どうしたの？声が小さくて聞こえない。
ごめん。言うかー！いつもその調子で俺を言いくるめようとしやがって。見てろ千春、俺はこの学園で動力を鍛えてお前の治療に頼らずとも。
Jin places his hand on his temple during his speech. Hey!
大丈夫だ。ちょっとクラッと。
ほら、まったくもう仕方ない兄貴だな。
With a wry smile, Chiharu places her hand on Jin's forehead.
屈辱だ。
はいはい、わかったから。
These two are such a fun pair. This school has an image of being strict, but being together with these guys, I have a feeling that I can have some fun too. With my nervousness fading away, I start to feel as if I can really relax here. As I'm chatting with everyone and finishing my lunch, some guy calls out to me. Who could it be? Let's find out next time on Koiken Otome. Thanks for watching everyone, and have a nice day. Bye bye.